50 Cent wanted Big Meech gone, not just out of the industry, gone for good, and now Meech is finally exposing the truth, revealing how 50 allegedly put a hit on him, making sure he'd never reclaim his throne. But that's not all. Meech is breaking his silence on what really went down between him and 50, the betrayal, the money moves, and the setup that left him with nothing. You already know when 50 Cent is involved, the drama is going to be top tier. At first, it seemed like 50 and Big Meech were locked in two larger-than-life figures with street cred and business moves that made them untouchable. Meech was the infamous Black Mafia family kingpin, and 50 the rap mogul turned TV boss who had the whole industry in a chokehold. On paper, this was a power do. 50 had the exclusive rights to turn Bev's story into a TV phenomenon, and Meech's son Lil Meech was stepping straight into Hollywood royalty. Everything was lined up perfectly until it all went south. And let's be real, if there's one person you do not want problems with, it's 50. So boom, 50 locked down the rights to tell Big Mia's story on TV. This wasn't some small project, this was the show that could shake up the industry, mixing street legend storytelling with Hollywood-level production. 50 went all in, making sure the BNF brand was solid, even shelling out cash for Lil Meech's acting lesson so he could play his father right. It should have been a done deal, a bond built on loyalty. But if money's involved, you already know things get messy. 50 Cent allegedly put $5 million into the BMF project, and according to him, that money mysteriously disappeared. No one could quite explain where it went, and 50 was not about to just let it slide at first. He stayed quiet, handling things behind the scenes. But then Big Meech made a move that would forever change their relationship, and 50 took it as the ultimate sign of betrayal. The moment Meech walked out of prison, he had two choices: rebuild with the people who actually had his back, or roll the dice on a flashy new deal. And guess what? He bet on the wrong one. Meech and Rick Ross had always had a strange connection. Ross had built an entire brand around the name Big Meech, and it was no secret that Ross idolized Meech from afar. And after Meech's release, he wasted no time in linking up with him. What should have been a casual association became something much deeper, and before long the two were doing business together. Now, if this had been anyone else, 50 Cent might have brushed it off. But Ross wasn't just anyone, he was 50's long-standing enemy. Their beef had been one of the nastiest in hip-hop, spanning over a decade, filled with lawsuits, diss tracks, personal attacks, and relentless humiliation. 50 even exposed Ross as a former correctional officer, dragged his baby mama into the drama, and clowned him at every opportunity. So when Meech, who had every reason to stay loyal to 50, took money from Ross, it felt like a slap in the face. Reports claim Ross had given Meech $100,000, an amount that was pennies compared to what 50 had already invested in him. To 50, this wasn't just business, it was a sign of disloyalty that could not be ignored. 50 Cent wasted no time cutting ties. He unfollowed Lil Meech on social media, then he took to Instagram, throwing direct shots at Meech, accusing him of switching sides for a quick payday. And then he dropped the biggest bombshell yet. He started pushing the narrative that Big Meech was a snitch. Then 50 dropped another one, this time a viral video of some random man talking about snitching, but with Mech's face slapped on it.
I don't even know what you did for me.
Bro, you happy about giving me
Nigga, you know how much motherfucking they gave me for that?
How much?
$200.
Caption was he had Tammy Cowan doing all his dirty work. Her new tell all break it down. Screech directed her and connected her to people to get his time cut. Basically, 50 keeps pushing the narrative that Meech was orchestrating moves behind the scenes to shorten his sentence. This accusation wasn't just random internet gossip. 50 Cent came armed with receipts pointing directly at Tammy, who had been accused of being a federal informant. Tammy even hit 50 up with a message for Meech.
I agree. It's unfortunate, right? It really is, but I agree. So, we'll just let it be told when the story gets told.
Yeah.
And I'm only going to stick to the truth and keep it pushing, right?
That's it. That's all it is.
But one message was all 50 needed to confirm what he already knew. 50 then claimed to have legal paperwork proving Big Meech had cooperated with the feds. He even brought in social media personality 190 Jake, who allegedly had documents suggesting Meech had engaged in some third-party cooperation with an informant. To make matters worse, leaked DMS from Lil Meech surfaced where he said, "Furrow, but he gave my dad some bread so he can afford to pay his bills." At first, this was just social media beef. But then things started moving and real-life rumors started swirling that 50 Cent was using his power to blackball Big Meech from the music industry. Meech was struggling, and the man expected his son to be pulling up with duffel bags of cash like the old days, but Lil Meech was in the same boat, broke and fumbling through whatever 50 had handed him. There's even talk that Me was waiting for L Baby to throw him some money because he pulled up in a Ferrari truck looking like he had it. But here's the thing, nobody owed Meech anything, not 50, not Lil Baby, not Ross, and definitely not the industry. But Ross saw an opportunity. When 50 started distancing himself, Ross slid right in, pretending he was going to be the savior. Ross hyped up a so-called Big Meech benefit concert, promising a legendary lineup and a nay that would mark Meech's official return. The whole thing was set up under EXO touring and AG touring, and Ross was talking big like he was about to change Meech's life. He threw names out like 21 Savage, Lil Baby, and even himself to make the concert look legit. He made it seem like this was about legacy, about loyalty, about putting Meech back in the driver's seat. And for a second, Meech really believed it, but when the time came, the whole thing flopped harder than anyone expected. If Meech wanted to make a comeback, 50 was going to make sure it never happened. The venue was locked and tickets were selling, and everything was moving full steam ahead. But just like that, the concert was mysteriously canceled. The official excuse, unforeseen circumstances. But no one was buying it, and to make matters worse, Rick Ross coasted. When the concert got canceled, he addressed it for about 5 seconds before immediately pivoting to promote his car show and other events. The man moved on like nothing had happened, leaving Meech to pick up the pieces of his shattered reputation. Fans were side-eyeing him hard because at the end of the day, Ross played a role in pulling Meech away from a solid money-making partnership with 50, only to leave him stranded the second things went south. And when you think about it, this was bound to happen. Ross never had Meech's best interests at heart. Instead of standing by Meech, he shifted focus to his own ventures, promoting his upcoming car show and leaving Meech in the dust. Fans started questioning Ross's loyalty, and the tides began turning against him. Big Meech, once at the center of hip-hop royalty, was now left scrambling with no money, no concert, and no solid backing. 50 wasted no time clowning the situation, posting the cancellation news with a caption dripping in sarcasm, "I had nothing to do with this, please stop calling my phone, happy Valentine's Day." He even took shots at Meech's financial struggles, posting a fake GoFundMe, claiming Meech needed help paying his ERM. 50 captioned his post, "Help Big Screech pay his $30,000 a month ERM. That's one of Pay's cribs. Shout out to quality control." If Meech thought things couldn't get worse, he was wrong. But the damage wasn't just to Meech. His entire family took a hit. 50 had been putting the whole BMF squad on payroll, giving them executive producer credits on the show, and making sure everyone was eating. Now that bridge was burned, 50 started hinting that BMF Season 4 might not even happen. If that was true, it would mean no more money for Lil Meech, no more exposure for the BMF brand, and the final nail in the coffin for Meech's Hollywood hopes. And after all that, what's Lil Meech doing now? Selling promo videos for $500 a pop.
What up, though? Boss of all bosses. And today I'm coming to tell all my supporters, if you're a business owner, entrepreneur, wherever you got, you trying to make it go up, hit me.
And 50 loved every second of it. He hit IG with a post clowning Meech, saying Big Screech got Meech doing promos, $500 a pop. Get you one while it lasts. 50 even dropped a series of stills from BMF, his hit TV show. But here's where it gets shady. He straight up scribbled out Lil Meech's face in the pictures. Yeah, not just ignored him, but went full marker on yearbook mode to erase him. He doubled down in the caption, to taking direct shots at Big Meech. Listen to the words, "Big Screech, you keep forgetting that you told Tammy Cowens to tell to get your time cut, sucker." And of course, he threw in his usual promo tags, because even when he's beefing, he's got liquor brands to push. Now this latest jab wasn't random. It came right after Lil Meech posted a heartfelt message about his dad. The BMF star shared a picture with Big Meech, making it crystal clear whose side he's on. He wrote, "Before I asked God for anything I made, sure I asked him to bring my father home to my family. My prayers were answered. I love you, Dad. Death be for dishonor." As for Ross, he tried to throw out a last-minute distraction, talking about making a real BMF movie with a big budget.
I do want to do a BMF film because you've been entertained by a lackluster, small budget series. Now it's time to do a big budget film.
Even named dropped Quentin Tarantino and Anton Fuel, like that was supposed to impress anyone.
Which director? Shout out to my homie F. Gary Gray, Antoine Foucault, what's up? Tarantino, It's a lot of legends. This is gonna be big. I can feel it. I'm just talking. When you're talking to a major player such as myself, listen, when you're talking to a major player such as myself, the moves I make, I most definitely have an agenda. I don't do anything to piss off a little peon.
At this point, nobody was taking him seriously. The man couldn't even pull off a concert. Why would anyone believe he could produce a blockbuster film? Anyways, 50 still continued. And there's one name that keeps popping up: Tammy Cowens. In one of his most recent posts, he warned Meech one last time, saying Tammy Cowens the truth and nothing but the truth coming soon. But 50 didn't stop there. He also dropped a screenshot of their alleged text conversation where he straight up asks her, Tammy, did Meech know you were providing information when he was in Jessup Penitentiary? Her response was a casual yep, followed by some extra details. She said this is when discussions started on, he wished he could tell or give me something to help him get out, but his name couldn't be attached. They would kill him because of who he is. This is when I first told Jack Harvey, if Meech tell him where the money is at, could they give him a 15-year time cut? And then came the final boss move. If calling Meech a snitch wasn't enough, 50 went for financial domination. He allegedly bought the halfway house Meech is legally required to stay in, ensuring that Meech, one of the most feared crime bosses in America, has to pay him rent. Yeah, let that sink in. Big Meech, the guy who once ran a billion-dollar empire, now has to send checks to 50 Cent just to keep a roof over his head, and 50 is not even subtle about it. In an interview, he apparently grinned while saying business is business. Emma put that ninja on toilet duty cleaning up felonies all day. So now Big Meech may be out of federal prison, but he's not really free because no matter where he goes, 50's gotten trapped. Fans are loving it, saying 50 is a real savage and has always stood on business. Nothing but respect to him. And this is the greatest burn I have ever heard. 50 makes my whole month. Meanwhile, others aren't convinced this is even real.
Whoa! Stop the presses. This story right here is complete and utter bullshit.
Apparently, Meech isn't even in a halfway house.
We know Meech didn't actually leave for the halfway house. He's on home confinement because of the First Step Act and winning his 821 motion in federal court. After spending nearly 20 years in federal prison, Demetrius Big Meech Flannery left the federal prison in Coleman, Florida, Coleman Low, on October 15th for home confinement. Now, before you say I don't know what I'm talking about, it says right here that he's in the RRM in Miami. He's actually on home confinement. It says RRM because the RRM, or the halfway house, or really the re-entry manager, is administering his home confinement in Miami through the halfway house that's owned by Dismiss Charity.
Knowing 50, it wouldn't be a surprise for him to take things this far. Whether that's true or not, one thing was clear: 50 had the upper hand and Meech was out of options. When you break it all down, it comes down to one simple question: was this really about loyalty, or was it all about the money? Did Big Meech really betray 50 Cent for a quick payday, or was this just 50-50 flexing his power? Well, he's back at square one. He's out of prison, but not really free. He gambled on Ross, lost his industry connections, and got nothing in return. And now he's looking at a long road ahead with no clear way to recover. But the real question is, does he even realize that Ross set him up? Because from the outside looking in, it's obvious Mech's downfall wasn't just bad luck, it was bad business. And the man who claimed to be Big Meech in his songs turned out to be the one who left him stranded at the end of the day. Ross played the game well, but Meech, he got played. At this point, the odds are stacked against him, and 50 Cent has made it clear that he will not be extending another lifeline. So what's next for Big Meech? Only time will tell. And if you think this is the end, think again. Watch our next video for even more industry take.